So hello, everyone. This is Steve Sanaciro, your state senator here in the 10th District in Bucks County. We have a special program today to talk about one of our real gems in the district and in County generally, and in Pennsylvania for that matter. One of our really historic sites, the Pennsbury Manor in Falls Township. And I'm joined today by Doug Miller, who's the director of Pennsbury Manor. And we're going to talk about a number of things in a relatively short period of time today. But I'd like to start, Doug, if we could. If you could just give folks just a quick overview of the history of Pennsbury Manor and what Pennsbury Manor is all about.
Sure. So Pennsbury Manor is the reconstructed home of William Penn. It's a 43-acre historic site right here in Bucks County. It sits right on the Delaware River. If we were to look at the map of the Delaware, it's right where the river turns, or that elbow of Pennsylvania that sticks into the side of New Jersey. Penn gets a deed to Pennsylvania called the Charter in March. We're almost on the anniversary date here, in 1681. And when he arrives here, his cousin had kind of scouted out the land, had purchased from the Native Americans the water frontage from Morrisville the whole way down to the Neshaminy Creek. Dead center of it is where Pennsbury Manor sits today.
Okay, well, so obviously this is the site. The manor itself has been reconstructed,
Right.
But obviously on that original site that William Penn used. When was the reconstruction? When did that happen?
So essentially, the property had changed hands after Penn had gone back to England, and later generations of Penns at the time of the Revolution divested themselves of the property in what would become the United States. So in the early 20th century, it was local citizens of Bucks County who kind of rallied around, convinced the Warner Company, that was a sand and gravel company that had acquired the property, to donate 10 acres of land that Penn's home had sat on to create a park in Penn's memory. The state gets involved by doing mitigation archaeology, and our project, thanks to Senator Grundy of Bristol, got some traction and went to Colonial Williamsburg, was inspired by that project to start to reconstruct the home based on archaeology the way Colonial Williamsburg was doing it. Today we have 20 buildings, some of them small, but on up to the manor house itself. There's livestock, there are gardens, a quarter mile of river frontage. It's a beautiful site. I love to tell the story because it was Bucks County citizens who actually brought this critical issue to the forefront when it came to preservation and gifted us the historic site we all enjoy today.
Sure. Well, thank you for that. And I'm glad you mentioned Colonial Williamsburg, because, of course, that's another example of an actual historical site that was recreated for current generations to be able to have some interaction with history and how things occurred at those particular sites. And like Colonial Williamsburg, Pennsbury Manor is a faithful reproduction of how we believe the site existed in colonial times, correct?
Yeah, we try our best to recreate the life and contributions of Penn. Would Penn recognize the building? The truth is, plans did not exist from Penn's time. So it was the best work of archaeologists of the day and people culling through archival records to create a recreation. In Trenton, there's the Trent House, which is probably 20 to 30 years later than Pennsbury, but took inspiration from Pennsbury. William Penn's secretary, James Logan, built his home inspired by Pennsbury in Germantown. It's called Stenton, and it's a wonderful historic site. So there were extant pieces from the colonial era that they were taking a look at. We're far more interested in the program content, talking about Penn's contributions and about the community that was here, because Penn wasn't here alone. And for instance, this is Women's History Month. So if people follow us on Facebook, they're going to be getting some content about the women who were at Pennsbury, not just William Penn himself. We just finished African American History Month, and for those that followed us, there was an opportunity to find out about some of the enslaved people who were at Pennsbury as well. and to learn a little bit of their history. And what this historic site offers us is a great springboard for people to learn about Penn's life and his legacy, because many people don't connect our daily lives to Penn's contributions, but we all enjoy representative government. We all enjoy rights of jury and trial by jury, and we all take a core precept of freedom of religion as part of being Americans. And those privileges that we enjoy as citizens owe their origins, at least in part, to William Penn. So in some ways, Penn's legacy touches each of us every day.
Yeah, that very well stated, and thank you for making those connections to obviously many of the issues that are topical. So obviously the last year or so has been a difficult time for everybody, no less so for Pennsbury Manor. Tell us what it has meant for Pennsbury.
Well, our largest audience are school children, and we do somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 school kids a year. Our niche market is a spring, and of course, all of us as citizens have gone through the COVID crisis together. And in March, we closed the site for very obvious safety and health concerns. The staff here, I'm incredibly proud of them. They turned at right angles and created a website specifically for educators, giving these educators who were forced into online teaching and learning with a moment's notice content. And one of the favorite letters that I received, emails from a teacher, was that she got a full week's worth of content from what was presented by Pennsbury. We offered up to any school that had engaged with us and was booked for the spring that we would do a virtual program, and we were learning along the way. So we offered this up for free. We've continued virtual programming. We offer up to 6 programs a month, some internal for our volunteers, and I'd encourage anyone that's interested to reach out and join us as volunteers here, and some external, going out to memberships and going out to the general public. One that I'll put in a blatant commercial plug. The charter, which is the deed to Pennsylvania, was granted to Penn in the 1680s. Pennsylvania, the Historical and Museum Commission, celebrates Charter Week every year. We're going to do a virtual live program about the charter on Sunday, March 14th. And we encourage anyone that's interested to reach out, and you'll actually get to hear from our curator about William Penn and the charter and the founding of Pennsylvania. So we've continued to do virtual outreach, but we have kept the doors shut for the safety of our guests, the citizenry, our volunteers, and of course the staff here. Meanwhile, of course, we maintain livestock. Staff have been coming in, and we haven't missed one day for our 4-legged and 2-legged friends in the barnyard. We have a dynamite historic gardener who has continued to propagate the antique plant stock that's here. Seasonally, we might have as many as 110 varieties of historic plants. We're right now doing fundraising to redo the upper court garden, or the garden right in front of the manor house. And while all of this has been underway, the Commonwealth has made a tremendous reinvestment in the future of Pennsbury with 2 geothermal projects, one for the visitor center that I'm standing in right now, and one for the manor house. The greatest danger to the collections that we steward for the citizens is light, temperature, and humidity. And one of the crazy things about a museum is we take our best collections and we put them in our worst environmental conditions. A geothermal system for the manor house will allow us to do a much better job of taking care of these antiques, so that, Steve, our grandchildren will be able to enjoy the same artifacts that kids today get to see. So we have been busy. The board here rolled up their sleeves, began serious fundraising, and we've been able to offset all of the unrealized earned income. We have kept our staff completely whole with no layoffs, and we are game planning right now towards reopening, although we don't have a reopening date yet for this spring.
Great. Well, first of all, I as a former teacher, I appreciate what you do for our schools, and that was a great story about that one teacher who was able to get an entire week of content from what you all had on the website. And I know too, as a former history teacher specifically, that whenever you can bring kids to a place like Pennsbury Manor, you can really open minds and open eyes in ways that you can't do in a classroom, because it really does connect them to the past in a way that they can see and feel and hear, that makes such a big difference. So the fact that you all regularly have done that and will do that again in the future is something that I know our school districts, not just here in Bucks County, but elsewhere in Pennsylvania, and I would guess perhaps even in New Jersey as well, can avail themselves of and really be a benefit to the kids. So so it sounds like you all been very busy in the virtual space, I should say, as we all
Yes.
have been in this time, and that's been a big obviously need for all of us, and a continued service to the education community and everyone else for that matter. We will get past this, as I've been telling constituents, and I know it's frustrating
Indeed.
right now with the vaccine rollout, but once we are, I mean, we heard just the other day, yesterday actually, from President Biden, that we now anticipate getting adults vaccinated by the end of May. So hopefully that is a good harbinger for being able to open up places like Pennsbury Manor. And so I assume once your doors are open again, you will be back into the type of programming that you've been famous for these many years now.
Yeah, we're anxious. We actually have a schedule that we're looking, starting in July, the public programming moving through the end of the calendar year with we're hoping for many of our signature programs. We have a free program for kids near Halloween with kid-friendly trick-or-treating here. It's been underwritten by PICO this past year. We actually did a drive-away event for families that were stuck at home. Holly Nights, of course, everyone that is here in Lower Bucks County knows our holiday 2-day open house with music supplied by high school musicians as well as public musicians. We want to get back to these great events. We're going to move slowly. We're going to limit tour sizes. We'll ask people to pre-register for tours. We're going to utilize the outdoors as much as we can. We have a new project heading our way. We were the fortunate recipients of a very competitive and very large Pew Charitable Trust grant, to work with a Native American artist, Nathan Young, whose median is sound. I wish I could tell you what it's going to look like in the end, but I have no idea. And that's part of the fun of the project. But it's going to connect us to a descendant of our own Lenape. Nathan is Delaware, and give us outdoor opportunities that didn't exist before COVID.
That's terrific. Really good to hear, and good to hear that Pennsbury Manor is still vibrant and has gotten through these very difficult months of the pandemic, and sounds like it will come out the other side as vibrant and strong as ever. So, Doug, I want to thank you for what you do for Pennsbury Manor. Obviously, the entire board, including my good friend Ron Schmidt. I have to give him a shout out. And I know Senator Tomlinson, one of my counterparts in the state Senate, has been very active. So I want to thank him for his work too. And I'm excited and proud of the fact that Pennsbury Manor is in the 10th district, and I look forward to continuing to work with you and really do encourage everyone to participate at least remotely now through the website, and once things open up again, to make the trip. It's certainly worth it.
I want to thank you for the very kind comments, for the opportunity. I certainly want to give credit where it is due, and the board has been nothing but incredible. The Pennsbury Society was formed in 1966 and has supported Pennsbury Manor every year since then. They've grown. They've taken on additional responsibilities as the Commonwealth has not been able to. And the staff that they have helped bring to bear here, as well as the state staff, has done great work. And I am blessed with almost 200 citizens who volunteer here, some only one day out of the year, some are here on a regular basis. They have not been able to come thanks to COVID, but we're looking forward to restoring them. And all of those different pieces are what makes Pennsbury work for us. And the support that we get from the legislature, from yourself, from Tommy, from all of the Bucks County representatives has been nothing but fantastic. And we wouldn't be here without all of those different hands helping pull on the oars.
Great. Well, thank you. And I'll say also on behalf of my counterpart in the House, whose district this includes, John Galloway, that we want to thank you for what you're continuing to do. So again, Doug, it's been a pleasure, and we want to encourage people to check out Pennsbury Manor online. And Doug, can you give us the website? We'll have it listed as well.
So it is www.pennsburymanor.org.
Great. So www.pennsburymanor.org. And go on right now, check out what's happening at Pennsbury Manor. We've got that discussion coming up on the 14th of March about the charter, which will be fascinating, and many other good programming in the near term before we're able to open up again to the public. So, Doug, thank you once again, and look forward to seeing you again at the site.
Thank you so much, Senator. Very much appreciated.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.